Hi Leo, welcome to your love reading for March 2020. Let's go ahead and see what is coming up for you. This is the love reading for the sign of Leo for March 2020. The first card you have, Leo, is Strength. Love reading for the sign of Leo for March. Justice. Love reading for the sign of Leo for March. The Empress. Love reading for the sign of Leo for March. Four of Cups. Love reading for the sign of Leo. Nine of Cups. Love reading for the sign of Leo for March. Eight of Swords. Love reading for the sign of Leo for March. Five of Wands. Love reading for the sign of Leo for March. Six of Cups. Love reading for the sign of Leo for March. And the World. Now I'm going to get the main energy for you, and I haven't done this for any of the other signs. I'm going to get the main energy from this deck right here, and there's actually a deck of all major arcana, so let's see what comes up for you. What's the most important thing that Leo needs to hear about their love life for March 2020? Nice, you have the Star. So the star can represent the sign of Aquarius, but this represents your hopes and wishes being granted. So we'll come back to this card in a minute and see how it ties in with the rest of the reading. Let's see what you have going on here, Leo. And if you would like a private reading with me, just go to my website, channelguidance.com, and I'll put a link down below. So your energy is actually the first thing that has come up here. You have the Strength card, which does represent the sign of Leo. But this also represents that you need to be brave, you need to stay strong. This is about not allowing your ego to overpower you. Because I definitely see the sign of Leo, like you feel like you have been wronged. I mean, you have the Justice card here right next to the Strength card. Justice can represent the sign of Libra, but it represents an injustice. You feel that perhaps you have been done wrong. You've been treated very unfairly. You've got the Empress here, which can represent the sign of Aries, but this represents perhaps a marriage. This represents the perfect partner, the perfect relationship, or someone that you thought was a perfect partner or the perfect relationship. I feel like the sign of Leo, like you definitely feel like you have been done wrong here with the Justice card. And I feel like, there's kind of a dilemma here. You've got the Four of Cups here and the Eight of Swords over here with the Nine of Cups in the middle. So some of you could be very kind of undecided as far as, kind of like letting the whole thing go. Because, you have the Four of Cups, which is really an energy of just not caring anymore. This is a card of just like, I have been hurt long enough, and you're just kind of numb. You don't care. This also is just a card of feeling very unhappy and unfulfilled. Maybe you're in a relationship where you're just feeling very disconnected from the person that you love. And you've got the Eight of Swords on the other side over here. The Eight of Swords is, kind of feeling mentally stuck, trapped, consumed by fear. So some of you, again, perhaps you're in a relationship, you're in a marriage where things are very unfair to you, where they're so unfair and you're so unhappy where you almost don't care about the situation anymore. Some of you can be feeling really stuck and trapped in that relationship, but you do have the Nine of Cups in the middle. The Nine of Cups is the Wish card. Ironically, the main energy for you was the Star. Your major arcana of hopes and wishes being granted. So I still see you perhaps being able to work out this relationship. Again, whatever it is for you where you have been done wrong, this can still turn out in your favor with the Nine of Cups. Again, this is being extremely happy, although it is surrounded by difficult energy. And at the bottom here, you've got the Five of Wands. This is definitely feeling conflicted, struggling. Let me just hold up the cards for you, because this is interesting. You've got the Five of Wands, Six of Cups, and the World. So, to me, the Five of Wands, this is an inner struggle, feeling, conflicted, fighting yourself. You've got the Six of Cups, which can represent someone from the past. Perhaps you're conflicted about closing the door to the past, because this ties in with everything that I've said in the two top rows. The World does represent, finally closing that door and moving on. But some of you may not be ready to give up. It's hard to say in a general reading. For some of you, this can still turn out in your favor. The Nine of Cups and the Star. But some of you could be feeling very, very conflicted maybe about, kind of staying in the situation. You feel stuck. You feel trapped. Let's get a few more. Let's see what other messages come up for you. What other messages are there for the sign of Leo for March 2020? We've got the Three of Pentacles. What other messages are there for the sign of Leo? March. Two of Wands. What other messages are there for the sign of Leo? Four of Swords. So you definitely have been waiting here. Perhaps you've been waiting for things to fall back into place. This is an energy of waiting and delays. The Three of Pentacles, you invested a lot of time, a lot of energy, maybe in a relationship. And, you know, perhaps your hopes and wishes regarding the relationship. This is a lot of time and effort. There's an energy here of waiting. Unfortunately, I see more waiting with the Four of Swords. The Four of Swords is perhaps healing that needs to happen in a relationship. But this also is kind of giving perhaps a person or a situation, maybe even yourself, some space and some time to think. So, I mean, what I get from all this, I feel like you're dealing with something very conflicting. I mean, it's no wonder you have the Five of Wands here. I feel like the sign of Leo, like you feel like you have been done wrong, to where you honestly are very unhappy and you almost kind of feel like I don't really care anymore either way. You've been waiting long enough. You've invested a lot of time and effort here. And I feel like you're kind of looking at the possibility maybe of finally moving on, closing the door. You know, as far as the past, even if this person is, you know, your current partner, maybe you feel like you need to kind of leave this in the past and move on. For some of you, because, you know, you have very positive cards here, and of course the main energy, if this is something you just started thinking about, it could be maybe that you need to give it more time with the Four of Swords. You need a timeout. Just really kind of meditate on the, you know, kind of asking yourself, is it truly time to let go? Is it truly time to move on? I feel like the sign of Leo, like you're struggling with this. You know, I feel like you deserve better. You've been done wrong, but you don't know if you really, like, if this is the time to just like let it all go. Let me get a few more from the confirmation deck. What other messages are there for the sign of Leo in March 2020? King of Pentacles. Knight of Swords. And the Hermit. What's the most important thing that Leo needs to hear about their love life for March 2020? Your energy. So, I mean, the fact that, you know, your energy has come up as the main energy means that you have a decision to make. The power lies with you. So I'll move the cards in a minute. But this is just telling you that you have to take the lead in making a decision. Because, I mean, I feel like the sign of Leo, like you're struggling, like, you know, is there just a hope for this relationship? Should I just move on? You feel you've been hurt. You feel like, you know, you've been treated very unfairly. You know, you're struggling. You've invested a lot of time and effort. I mean, you do have the Knight of Swords and the Hermit right next to each other. The Hermit can represent the sign of Virgo. But the Hermit means that, you know, you have a lot of thinking to do, which ties in with the Four of Swords. Give it some time, especially if this is something where you're just kind of starting to question a relationship or partner. You definitely want to give it some time before just kind of cutting this person off. The Hermit is just so searching, because you do have the Knight of Swords, which means that, you know, things can change very unexpectedly for you. Again, this is a general reading. If, you know, if this person that you feel has done you wrong, if, let's say, weeks, months, years have gone by, it's probably time to move on. If this is something where you just had a minor glitch, past few days, past few weeks, you don't want to jump the gun here, because you still have very positive energy with the Nine of Cups and the Star. Your hopes and wishes are valid. But I definitely feel that you've been done wrong, and some of you are considering, you know, closing the door. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the X spread. Hey Leo, let's go ahead and see what's going on between you and your ex. I did want to show you a jumping card. It actually jumped from the confirmation deck and it went flying across the room, and I was asking about you and your ex, and it's the Six of Swords. So the Six of Swords does represent moving on. I know I wanted to show it to you because that was kind of a major message for you in the first spread. This is moving on to something much better and something much healthier. So let me go ahead and put it back in the deck, and let's see what comes up from this deck. What's going on between Leo and their ex for March 2020? Look at this. I mean, seeing is believing. The Six of Swords. Strong message for you, Leo. Leo and their ex for the month of March. Five of Wands. This card was also in the first spread. The Eight of Swords, also in the first spread. Leo and their ex. Five of Cups. Leo and their ex. Adjusted. All of these cards, all of them have been in the first spread. All of them, except for the Six of Swords, which is even creepier because this card jumped for you. And here it is, first card. King of Pentacles, which was also in the first spread. So that means the sign of Leo, I feel like you know what you have to do about your ex. You know it, and you may not want to hear it. Leo and their ex. Page of Pentacles. Okay, we haven't seen that one before. Leo and their ex. Knight of Swords. Four of Wands. Okay, so let's take a look at this. I mean, remember, this is a general reading, and I know I always say that, but I mean, I feel like there's two different messages here for like two different audiences. I mean, I definitely feel like the sign of Leo, I mean, the elephant in the room here, right in the center of the reading, the Justice card. You had this card in the first spread. This can definitely represent the sign of Libra, but this means that you have been done wrong, or you feel you've been done wrong. Things have been very unfair. You've got the Five of Cups here, which represents tears, sadness, disappointment, very emotional energy. Yeah, and then you've got this earth sign energy also came up in the first spread. Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. Male or female, sun, moon, or rising. Can also be you if you have a moon or rising in an earth sign. I feel like here, I mean, look at this. Six of Swords, Eight of Swords, Five of Wands in the middle. I feel, again, sign of Leo is conflicted about moving on. The Five of Wands is struggling. There's literally a struggle going on inside of you as far as, should I move on? Is it time to move on? And since this was the jumping card from the confirmation deck that I showed you at the beginning of this spread, and it's the first card that I pull, I feel like for many of you, like you definitely, like, you need to hear that it's time to move on from your ex. I mean, I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but I mean, that is a loud message for you. Especially if you've been waiting for a really, really long time. Like, you know, if it's been months, if it's been years, it's time to move on. Because you're kind of stuck here and you definitely don't want to stay here. The Eight of Swords. You're trapped. You're unable to move forward. You know, you're just kind of consumed by fear. You feel you've been done wrong, but you're struggling as far as letting go. You know, there is, let me just kind of move you down here a little bit. I'll hold the cards for you. You've got the Four of Wands here, which does represent, you know, a relationship, commitment, stability. And I feel like for some of you, that, again, it really depends on how long this person has been your ex. If it's something that just happened in the past few days, weeks, even, you know, perhaps 1 month or two, there can still be hope for some of you here, because this can represent a long-term relationship, commitment, and things changing very unexpectedly. You got the Knight of Swords. Things can change in the blink of an eye. This is like the Tower. But you're being told, reflect on this. Look at this very carefully. You know, do you really want to try again? Do you really want, you know, this person back in your life? And only you can answer that question. Okay, let me get a few more. What other messages are there for the sign of Leo from March 2020? Ace of Cups. Five of Swords. The Lovers. That's a tough one. It's a tough one because, I mean, you've got the Ace of Cups. Very nice, because this is a new beginning. This is rekindling your relationship with your ex. You've got the Lovers, which can represent the sign of Gemini. But the Lovers also represents a relationship that you want very much. It also represents a decision you have to make. Speaking of decisions, you've got the Five of Swords. This does represent negative energy. This is like the Devil. And the Five of Swords does represent a decision that will come back to haunt you. A very unwise decision. And I feel like, you know, considering that the Six of Swords is the way it has come up for you, I feel like for many of you, it's just, you know, it's time to move on from your ex. I know, a really unpopular thing to say in a love reading. But I mean, the Five of Swords is, I mean, this is pretty serious, because it does mean that if you make the wrong decision, you'll look back and you'll wish that you could just undo what you just did. And you also have Five of Wands and Five of Swords. The fives do represent some type of obstacle. Actually, you know what? You have three fives. Five of Cups, Five of Wands, Five of Swords. There's truly some type of obstacle as far as, you know, you having this relationship here that you want very much. There's definitely some type of obstacle. Okay, let me get a few more from the confirmation deck. What else does the sign of Leo need to hear about their ex for March 2020? Seven of Cups. The Fool. Four of Cups. Yeah, I mean, I feel like There could definitely be a chance. I mean, you've got the Ace of Cups, you've got the Lovers, you've got the Fool. There is a chance here for a new beginning. The Fool is telling you that you're going to have to take a risk here. The Fool is all about going out on a limb. There are no guarantees. You can take them back, and maybe you might be, in bliss. This could turn out to be, the perfect partner for you. You may stay together for the rest of your life. You can get back together, and you could break up in a few days. That is the energy of the Five of Swords. A very bad decision. There's a lot of confusion here with the Seven of Cups. This is a very confusing decision. This is being completely lost. There's this general energy here of just, being unhappy. And I'm pretty sure, yeah, here it is. This is a repeat card for you because you had it in the first spread. So some of you could just feel very unhappy with maybe what happened with your ex. Because the Justice card is also, let me just put this here. This card also came up for you in the first spread, which does mean that you feel you have been done wrong. Here we go. In a big way, because it is a major arcana. You feel like your ex really has done you wrong in a very big way. Or some of you, you may feel numb as far as that situation. I feel like the sign of Leo, like you're trying to decide in the month of March, like, is it truly, truly time to just like let it all go? And I feel like you do have a chance for a new beginning with this person, but I just feel like if you try again, it may end the same way. I mean, I hate to say that, I really do, but I feel like there's just way too many red flags in this reading. And by red flags, I mean the number 5s. 5 of Cups, 5 of Wands, 5 of Swords. There's too many obstacles. Also with the 2, 4 of Cups here, this is feeling unhappy. You may get back together just to see that all the same problems are still there. You may end up in a place where you just don't care anymore. Yeah, I feel like you deserve better. Justice. I feel like, whatever it is that went wrong the first time, that may have been a wake-up call. Okay, Leo, this has been your love reading for March 2020. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll speak to you again next month.